Hey everyone, this is Mustafa, and today I interview Brain. Brain is an entrepreneur, investor, startup advisor. He worked with a startup from all over the world. If you are a startup and looking for an investor or you're looking for mentorship, Brain is the best guy to contact you. I'm going to leave his contact in the description. Watch the video until the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to publish more videos and interviews with other great guys too. Thanks so much and have a lovely day. On air right now. So, hey, Bryn, thanks so much for showing up and appreciate the time. And how's your day so far?
Doing well, sir. Appreciate you having me on. So, pleasure to speak with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right. Yeah, I've looked at your LinkedIn profile and I felt like it's interesting I talk to you and if you can share a little bit about who you are, what do you do, specifically in the entrepreneurship area.
Absolutely. So, over the last 20 years, I've built a holding company, and as of last month, there's 61 entities in it, and then I have built over 150 joint ventures around the world. So we've become industry agnostic. This chapter of my life, what I really love to do is take all of my learning experiences, resources, network, relationships, work with either startup founders, co-founders, entrepreneurs, even all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, where we can add value. So if we take what they want to do or what they want to accomplish and start to combine it with our assets, our reach, and create value just by having a conversation, that's what I really enjoy to do. I also love guiding entrepreneurs in a way where I can support their initiatives, never come in and change or alter their visions or their aspirations, but be a rock for them to come to. What do they need? They need problem solved, they need financing, they need new customers. I like to be an extension and an enhancement to a management team. Awesome. And then together we create win-win opportunities going forward.
That's awesome. And then for how long you've been doing this entrepreneurship, I would say support and helping entrepreneurs and startup?
Yeah, I wish I started a lot sooner, but I didn't understand the model I was creating. But over the last 2 years, I really perfected the ability to come in and add value immediately.
Awesome.
So what I love to accomplish is going into a room, never with my hand out asking for anything, but just, again, combining A and B and accomplishing Z. And with the right people that are open to knowing they need some help, then they want the assistance. That's key. You got to know the right timing to come in and work with an entrepreneur. A lot of times when they're first starting, I don't want to take this away from them. They think they have all the answers and they can go immediately and accomplish it. Some do, some don't. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I have to sit and wait when I see an opportunity for them to come back to me when they're open to the idea of working together and collaborating and finding ways to be successful.
And then you're open as well to invest in a startup, or it's more of like a mentorship type of thing?
I am, but I still have a process where we work together for at least 3 months. So it's important that we work well together.
Yeah.
So think of it as a dating period.
Yeah.
And then I also want to de-risk any capital, whether it's my own or our investment bank partners, lending partners, private capital partners. I don't want to bring any of our relationships into an opportunity or into an investment
unless you
that
make
isn't
sure
going to be successful.
Interesting. And then how about the region and the interest? Like, do you have any preference when it comes to region? Like, have you ever worked with a startup from the Middle East or North Africa countries?
Absolutely, yeah. We created tremendous joint ventures and SPVs in those regions. One of the smartest things to do, especially when you go into a region where you don't know the business etiquette, the culture.
Yeah.
You really want to be with an ally. I felt it best to go into those regions with a strong legal partner. Uh-huh. So you pick a strong law firm that has a lot of clients that are onboarding new startups or even very established businesses. Mm-hmm. And then you have a friend and a partner, whether it's a legal or an accounting firm, that can bridge that gap and introduce you to the right people.
Absolutely, I see what you mean. Uh-huh.
I made mistakes in countries like China, even the Middle East, where I went in blindly and trusted the people that were telling me certain things that it was accurate, and it wasn't. So that's how I learned I needed a better process. I needed to have a real true friends, allies, and partners in those regions so I don't waste any of my time or resources discussing about a project, a company, or an investment that isn't really there.
Okay. And then have you, like, what was your experience in with a specific country in the North Africa? Like, which country do you kind of approach, and it wasn't really kind of a good experience?
It was with we have a strong wireless communication technology and network. So it was in the Northwest African region.
Okay.
So we were bringing our technology into what I thought was a partner of MTN, which is a very large telecom throughout Africa. And then turned out they weren't really partners. They were just using me for them to become partners. And again, if you don't do your appropriate due diligence and you don't know what's really going on in certain regions when you're coming in as someone that doesn't know anybody or have the right relationship.
I think that's kind of a lesson learned for investors who would love to come to a different region. If they didn't have experiences yet, they have to have someone they trust to show them what is going on when it comes to entrepreneurship in this particular region. Is that true?
Absolutely, true. But it's not just outside of America. You see the same misleading people in the USA. It's like you find in any other country. If you go to a region where you don't know, again, the culture, the business acumen, and what needs to get done, it's going to be very difficult. Not saying you can't succeed, but it's really important to go into those regions with an ally and a strong plan. And to come from a place of strength opposed to a place of weakness.
And how about the language and cultural barriers? How was it? Like, what was your experience with that?
It's been pretty good. I haven't had any issues with any culture shock. Mostly, English is very prominently spoken with all of the business that we do around the world. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest opportunity in the world right now is Latin America. I think that's going to be the next biggest economic boom for development, for construction projects, technologies. I think Latin America is due for a strong.
Can you give examples, like mention countries or something? Specific countries?
We go right down to the northern tip of South America, where you have companies like SoftBank, one of the biggest investment banking companies in the world. They're pouring a tremendous amount of money into Latin America, big on technologies, telecoms. It's a region, much like the Middle East, that's seeing such an upswing in wanting to leave their mark and say, hey, we're known for this. In the UAE, you see their space program doing very well.
Especially in the construction, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Have you been in the Middle East by any chance? Like you?
I have. Yeah, I've been to Dubai, Doha, and we have great partnerships in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan as well.
Awesome, interesting. And then, with the experience of working and traveling and flying to the MENA region, what do you think that which industry that will have most prominent progress and have big potential away from construction? Like something could be technology. Do you think it might be a prominent industry in the MENA region?
I think, and you've seen this around the world, I think logistics is the most important wave going forward. So that's a combination of technology and the ability to move people and things very efficiently. So you see companies like Uber, Lyft.
Yeah, we do have Uber, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so companies like that are so important to properly move people and things around the world. So infrastructure projects, Hyperloop things where you're moving people at a very fast speed with low impact on energy resources. So the world operates off of moving commerce, whether it's digital commerce or physical tangible goods. It's extremely important. And now, since everything's been on quarantine and everybody's stuck either home or very limited travel, it's so important these infrastructures are in place to make sure people can receive goods that they need, food that they need, water that they need, supplies. And that's thanks to companies like, again, Uber and these companies that can move product and things around. Obviously, UPS, FedEx, DHL, so important now more than ever, where we weren't able to go to places to get things that we need. So therefore, services need to be developed that bring things to us in a very efficient, quick manner.
Do you prefer this, like when you think about investments in the MENA region? I was speaking specifically about the MENA region, all right? But when you think about investments in the MENA region, do you prefer that kind of investment to bring a franchise from the West, I would say maybe in Europe or in the US, and duplicate it in the MENA region, or you love to invest in something that completely new out of the box?
I would say both. Not the answer you're looking for, but you have opportunities. You have opportunities for both. The franchise models,
like Uber is a franchise, for example.
Yeah, but you have the support of them. You have their marketing dollars. Absolutely, you have technology. Yeah. You have a lot of resources there. But if you want to create value that you're not making somebody else more wealth, and you're only going to sell a bit of it. Obviously, if you have to create new technology, if you have ways to develop a new service or product, your upside is much more stronger than if you were going to be limited to, I'll bring this company over here, I'll be able to use their brand, but I'm only going to be making 10 or 50% of the profits and they get the rest. So
yeah,
you're limited on the upside if you were to work on a franchise model.
I'm asking this question because maybe someone is watching this video and they have an idea of their mind that they want to just to bring kind of a brand, and they want to bring it into the MENA region, and they want to start this, and they're kind of looking for someone to invest with them or support them. Could be by mentorship or something like that. So, are you willing to, like, if someone is interested in reaching out to you and speak to you about like an investment opportunity, like in which stage they should be in so that they could do this and talk to you? Like idea stage, or they have, or they started already, they have kind of revenue model going on, or like in which stage you would be interested more and willing to support as the entrepreneur?
Really, any stage. I answer every email, LinkedIn message, Twitter message immediately. It's a lot easier if they're in idea stage because we can work together perfecting the concept than if they are post idea, it's already implemented, and then they're hitting some hurdles. Then we have to go backwards and see what's wrong here, what's not working, which is fine. But then people, the mentality of certain people don't have the ability to acknowledge if they're doing something wrong or if something needs to be changed. So it all depends on the entrepreneur and their ego, their pride, and their ability to take, I don't want to call it criticism, but their ability to take opinions and ideas and actually implement them.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. Like, what kind of personality do you like to work with?
I can get along with everyone, but if you have
flexibility, I would say.
The word ego is difficult for me to work with someone. So if someone comes to me for help and they need to help grow their business or they want to find opportunities, but yet they fly first class or they're driving around in a very expensive car, that's someone that I know I can't work with because they're utilizing resources for their personal.
Yeah, I see your point.
You could take that money and apply it to your business. So if you're not using your own capital to grow your own business, how the hell do you expect other people
to invest in your business? Exactly. Yeah. Makes sense.
But that's but I tend to get along with everyone, but that type of person is very difficult to shift the focus from them to the business because they're more important than the business.
And then how do you trust, like if someone like you haven't met before and they come to you asking for investments or help or mentorship, like how do you usually kind of do your due diligence and to trust them? Like, do you work with incubation or accelerator in the MENA region where they can have a look at this idea and see if it's prominent or not? And, like, just give me a little bit of like insight about that.
Yeah, so that's part of the 3-month dating process. So we actually just get right to work together. The best way you can know anybody is to get in the trenches and start working together. So as I start making introductions to them, I start meeting their other management team. I started talking with their investors. I started to really form a strong idea of what this company actually is. And then I learned by how quickly they respond to introductions. If someone's hungry for help and growth, if I shoot an email intro to someone that's important to me, and they don't get back to them in a day, a week, I know that this isn't someone that's going to be. Yeah, well, not just that; they're just not hungry. I respond to everything immediately, and I never leave.
My experience with you, you responded very quickly. Yeah.
So if someone I'm trying to help or is asking me, and I'm spending my time to introduce them to partners or opportunities that I think is valuable, and then they don't show me the respect to respond quickly or to set up a call, then I know that person's going to hurt my reputation. They're going to hurt my credibility. So that's a very simple thing to pick up on. They're an entrepreneur or founders or management team that aren't quick to jump on opportunity that they're for help from. They're going to want to hurt doing more to you than be helping them.
With you been working with entrepreneurs from all over the world, what are the ratio between like females and male, and give us like a little bit of insights about that. It's just important to to know whether working with female entrepreneurs, like, did you have a more successful ratio, like on running business in more quality and speed rather than male entrepreneurs? Like, I just want to know your insights about that.
Sure. Well, with my history was originally in the beauty industry. I worked with a very high percentage of female entrepreneurs creating beauty products, services, techniques. So early on in my career, I was around very creative, brilliant women that were starting companies, and then I was honored to help them grow those companies. And then when I started to grow my holding company and get into different industries, you obviously see a shift where I was kind of shocked to see different industries. There was no women entrepreneurs or have the ability to break into those industries.
Like what?
And then, a lot of banking, senior level banking, and hotel development, real estate development. A lot of that is majority masculine. Yeah. But the cool thing is, obviously, because of a lot of these funds that are rolling out that are women oriented, a lot of new awareness around balancing the world out in different industries. I've seen it equal quite strongly over the last 3 to 4 years, where there's a powerful woman now in leading major car and automobile companies. You see powerful women now being members of boards of banks. So the breakthrough is happening, which is great to see. But in my experience in history, it was odd to see. I was mostly surrounded by women early on with the beauty industry, and then basically none. And now I'm starting to see it balance out, which is a great thing to see.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what I was saying is just being working with female and like in the Middle East, like what was like from your experience, the challenges that they shared with you that they have or they facing to start businesses or to work in the business industry in the MENA region. Some, like, if you can share some influence aside with the experiences that you've had with some of those entrepreneurs,
Sure.
females, who shared with you those struggles.
Yeah, so early on when we were building our joint ventures in the Middle East was about 5 to 7 years ago. It was majority male. So everywhere we went, we spoke with royal families and these sovereign wealth funds, majority male. But over the last 2 years, you've seen a giant shift in the ability that females are now allowed into certain business meetings, which is great because that's what I'm used to. And certain examples, a royal family office that we work with, one of their heads of oil and gas is an incredible woman that I get to work with, and we get to strategize on new products and opportunities. Same thing happened last week where a royal family office with their head of aviation is now an incredible woman that had history in moving cargo and people from her country. They recruited her over to work out of Dubai, where she's leading an entire multi-billion-dollar division of aviation. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing a major shift in culture acceptance and allowing these brilliant women to survive and thrive and grow. Back to the beauty industry, Huda Beauty is a Middle Eastern woman, multi-billion-dollar beauty company that she created. And they're just absolutely crushing it. So I'm glad to see that. I think the ability for seeing these women all over the world do great things and having access to that information through the internet or through the news is allowing for culture to know it is a global economy. You have to evolve your cultures and acceptance where everybody is equal and everybody should have the opportunity to succeed and fail. If you want to go out and do it, everybody should have that chance to do it.
I completely agree. Yeah, with that being said, awesome. So you're open to get whatever request is coming from male, females from the MENA region, which is awesome. And I appreciate the time today. Thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate the advices, and the talk to you was very interesting. And then would it be okay to share your maybe LinkedIn profile if you want to share like any contact information with along with the video so that people can easily reach out to you, just maybe share ideas, talk to you, email you about whatever challenge that they're facing? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can always find me on LinkedIn, Brian J. Esposito, Twitter, same name. And then my website's eie.rocks, and I respond back to everybody. As you know, Mostafa is pretty
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. It was a very lovely talking to you, and hopefully very soon you will end up with a lot of entrepreneurs coming from the MENA region.
I would be honored. Thank you, pal. Have a good day.
You too.